Folks, I'm going to start with an apology, okay? Now, a lot of people have been saying, oh, where's Chris Kumekucha? Why is he not commenting quickly about these things? Things are happening. Where's Chris? Yeah? Now, I just need to clarify something. I do not comment about things unless I have done my thorough research, yeah? Unless I know what I'm saying, yeah, in short, okay? In my long experience, I've learned that sometimes when you rush to comment on something, unafanya vitu juju, and then you don't really get to the crux of the matter. You do not give people value in what you're commenting about, yeah? They listen to your recording or they read your post, and they come out either more confused than before, or they gain nothing. They waste their time, okay? And time is valuable. So I want to make sure that when I do a recording, iko na kitu ndani. Yeah? Of course, that limits the possibility of me being wrong. Yes, I'm human, and I've been wrong, yeah? But I want to make sure that when I'm wrong, I can apologize, and in my heart I can say I did everything possible to make sure I was accurate, okay? Right, twende kazi, because there's so much that has happened, okay? Now, we're going to do a series, yes, on the current state of affairs in the country, okay? And the two main topics I'm going to cover are secession. I can hear the cheers out there, yeah? Yeah! And the economic boycott. Now, the economic boycott may sound boring, okay? But I just want you to note one very important factor, okay? I will take the example of a bank. You know, a business is a very, very, very sensitive thing. Extremely sensitive. I have seen businesses collapse because of a small incident. One small incident, okay? People are crowding around the counter to buy. Then one customer comes and he makes a funny comment. He says, oh, these things are so substandard nowadays, yeah? This and this happened, blah, blah, blah. Kwisha maneno. Because what happens? The other customers listening, yeah? Then maybe they all realize that what this guy is saying is true. And the word spreads like wildfire, yeah? So that crowded shop, suddenly crowds not disappear. Yeah, businesses are very sensitive, okay? Now, don't even talk about a bank. Because I know most of you know that when you put money in a bank, the bank does not keep all the money in liquid form, okay? So all you need to do, yeah, for a bank to collapse, is for a percentage, not every customer, just a percentage of the customers to do what they call a run on the bank. A run on the bank is where a large number of customers, not all of them, a large number of customers come in and close their accounts and withdraw their money. Your bank kwisha. Yeah? I need you to note that. So those of you thinking this economic sabotage by the opposition will not work, think again. Anyway, let's start with secession. I'll move on to economic boycott ambayo iko na maneno nyingi in the next episode of this recording. Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho and his Kilifi counterpart Amason Jefferson Kingi have finally come out, yeah, and they have produced what they call a roadmap to secession, yeah, Pwani sio Kenya. Now, of course, they have said they're going to use legal means, totally legal means, nothing that is illegal, no violence, blah, 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 yeah. Now, legally speaking, they have extremely strong grounds for secession. Very strong. Think of this as a divorce court, yeah? Your wife goes to court and she's seeking divorce from you, okay? So she has to give grounds, yeah? So if she comes and she says, this guy beats me about once every 2 years, yeah? Of course she's going to be asked, where's the evidence? Yeah? The long and short of it is that it's not enough to go to court and say, nimeshiba huyu jamaa. You need much more than that, yeah? Secession is the same, okay? But note something. The coast has got extremely strong grounds for divorce, okay? Actually, in the entire country, if you look at the entire country called Kenya, yeah, the region that has the strongest grounds for divorce is the coast. Why? Let's start with the historical. Now, the coastal strip historically has always been owned by the Sultan of Zanzibar. Okay, Zanzibar used to have a sultan. Yeah, most of us have done history, and you've heard of a man called Said. Yeah, Zanzibar traditionally had very strong sultans. These were very serious leaders because they had advisors, and they managed to do some very clever things. Yeah, hata bila kwenda shule. These clever things were aimed at ensuring that they retain as much autonomy as possible, even under British colonial rule. Yeah, they managed to do that. So as late as 1963, the coastal strip belonged to the Sultan of Zanzibar. Now, 1963 is the year Kenya got her independence, and the truth is, as the country was hurtling towards its independence, there was a very, very high possibility that the country called Kenya, yeah, would end up with a map that did not have a coastal region or a port. Okay, which would mean that Kenyan citizens, if they needed to go to the coast, beaches, etc., would need a passport. But thanks to a very sly man called Tomboya and Jomo Kenyatta, these guys did everything possible, and they forced things. And finally, the Sultan of Zanzibar gave, yeah, the 10-mile strip to the country called Kenya, 10-mile coastal strip. And Kenya had a port. And that's when horrors started for the poor coastal people, okay? Because a lot of injustices were done against coastal people right from independence. That's the truth. In short, watu wa bara walitumia watu wa pwani kutengeneza hela nyingi sana. Yeah? The bara people, now you all know bara means interior. Yeah? Interior, non-coastal. Yeah? Outsiders, foreigners. Yeah? Used the coast to make a lot of money while leaving the local population impoverished. Okay? So none of the locals were really benefiting from this. Now, for instance, foreign investors flooded into the new Kenya, and many of these foreign investors decided to set up hotels along the coastal line. Now, the Sultan of Zanzibar, with all its corruption, with all its weaknesses, kept mostly foreign investors out of the area. And when foreigners came in, the biggest question on their mind, whatever they were being offered, the biggest question on their mind was, how are our local people going to benefit? Of course, it is also true a lot of times they looked at it, how are we going to benefit, i.e. the Sultan and his immediate family. Yeah? But the difference is this. When the Sultan and his immediate family benefited, the money remained in the region. That's very important, because when money remains in the region, there's employment, the money is circulating around, the local people are happy. Yes, the Sultan and his family are getting richer, but the money is being circulated locally. Now, it's a very big contrast with the Kenyan government, because when investors came in, yeah, if there was an individual to benefit, and of course there are individuals to benefit, I'll come to that in a minute, yeah, the money went where? Swiss accounts, abroad, yeah, it went to develop other parts of Kenya, and so on and so forth. In fact, I was told a very interesting story that is still a bit sensitive, but let me see how I can reword it. Okay, there was one prominent family in Kenya, yeah, and in the Kenyan government, yes, at that time. So what used to happen, it was well known, for any foreign hotel investor to come in and invest at the coast, they had to cede 10% ownership to that family in order to set up the hotel. Now, when you have 10% ownership in a hotel, yeah, that is bringing in US dollars, hard currency in those days, yeah, still is actually, yeah, you can imagine how rich you can get, yeah, because we're talking about more than 50 hotels, okay? Each hotel, at the end of the year when they're declaring their profits, 10% in yako, and you retain that ownership. It's a fortune, okay? So these are some of the injustices that happen at the coast. In fact, it was very sad because I've had very crazy horror stories where some businesses at the coast were taken over in a very simple way. some bara people would approach a prominent business owner, yeah, and then they'll tell them something like this. Mzee amesema hii biashara yako sasa itakuwa yake. Yeah, something crazy like that. Okay. Now, of course, the business owner would be offered some compensation, but the kind of compensation that be offered would not be anywhere near the value of the business being taken over. Okay. And of course, many of these deals were done by individuals who are speaking the right language. You know, they were coming from the place where Mzee hailed from. Yeah. So you're a business owner. This person approaches you. Yeah. He tells you that he has got orders from State House. Blah blah blah. How are you going to verify that? Yeah. You can't pick up the phone and call the dreaded Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and ask him, Mzee, ni kweli unasema unataka hii? So businesses just changed hands like that, yeah. And even if the people paid the full value for the business, it meant that the cash was transferred, yeah. Instead of being enjoyed by locals, local owner, locals enjoying the business, enjoying the benefits accruing from the business, the cash was transferred up country, bara, yeah. So over a period of time, this has had its impact on the coast. The truth is, and any economist will tell you, the coastal region should be one of the most prosperous regions in the country called Kenya. Yeah, by far. But it's not. There's so much poverty there. Okay? Now, if you want a divorce from your husband, one of the grounds that has the biggest impact is human rights abuses. Okay? And I'm telling you that the coastal region, in seeking divorce, has got such a long list of human rights abuses. Yeah, because this kind of economic hardship brought about by what I've just described is very, very serious human rights violation. Yeah, many countries have achieved secession on much, much flimsier grounds. Yeah, that's how I can put it. Right, I see I've run out of time. No worries, we'll continue with this amazing, fascinating topic. Yeah, in the next episode. Yeah, you know the usual drill. Look out for that link on your top left hand corner. As soon as that recording is ready, pop, you should be there. This is Kshs Kumekucha.